Hey guys, welcome back. This is in continuation of our discussion of the composite Salesforce connector. We have already discussed some couple of features which are available through batch and through composite. So as you can see, today we are going to discuss about the composite graphs. So what is a graph? So if you are able to recall, we have discussed this graph topic earlier as well in couple of occasions. I can recall at least for Facebook API when we have designed one POC, we discussed a lot about graphs as well. But in this particular perspective, we will be discussing with respect to Salesforce and how composite graphs and how we can use this particular concept while making a composite API call to the respective Salesforce backend. So I'm going into the presentation mode, and composite graph provides an enhanced way to perform composite request which execute a series of REST API requests in a single call. So the same concept of composite requests and regular composite request allows you to execute a series of REST API requests in a single call, so that you can use the output of one request as the input to the subsequent request. For example, you can create an account and within one part of the request, and the ID of that account which is being created, that can be used while creating a contact, and that contact can be associated with that account ID. Okay, so this is like one of the basic example. And composite graph can be extended by allowing you to assemble a more complicated and complete series of related objects and records. So the level of nestedness, or you can say the multiple graph nodes within the composite request, it can be as simple as of 2 nodes, or it can be containing a n number of nodes, just not to increase the level of complexity. So it also ensures that the steps in a given set of operations are either all completed or all not completed. So the same concept of all or none, so that flag is still available within this composite graph connector. So this avoids requiring you to check for a mix of combination, like whether it is successful, one request is getting successful, other is going unsuccessful or errored out because of any reason. So you can make use of that particular flag, all or none. Again, the regular composite request have a limit of 25 sub requests, whereas composite graph increases this limit to 500. So it has increased that capability of multiple requests within a single REST API call to multi-folds. So within the composite request, basic 25 sub requests were allowed, whereas graphs we are able to do up to a limit of 500 requests. So defining the composite graph. So in general, a graph is a collection of connected nodes. So as we were discussing about that, so account is being created, so a ID will be generated, and the same ID can be used as an ID of an account node to link the contact with the account. So account and contact, these are two different objects, but the account ID which is being generated as part of account sub request, that account ID can be used as the ID of an account to link the contact with the account. So I will be taking a use case for this, and it will be much clear in that particular respect. So idea here is account ID is an output of this account creation, and this result can be used as a association between a new contact which is being created, and it is being associated with account using this account ID. So that is the main crux. Now graph depth. Nodes with no parents can be considered to be at depth 1. So this is depth 1 because it doesn't have any more you can say the number of nodes associated with that. The depth of another node is the maximum number of edges in the graph from the depth 1 to that node. Okay, so what does it mean? An edge between the two nodes occur when the one node uses a property such as reference underscore count ID from the another node. Okay, so it's like that. So if we are, let's suppose we are sitting on this particular node, it is coming up to which level of depth? First, second, third, and fourth. Okay, so that's why it is mentioned as depth equal to 4. Similarly, first, second, and third, this is the depth of 3 for this particular node, and similarly for the depth of 5. Now all or none parameter, which we have discussed about whether all the sub requests will result in a successful or all unsuccessful. To make it work, this is the parameter, all or none parameter. So in standard composite operation, the only control over what happens if an error occurs is through this particular parameter. So if the value is true, then it will, you can consider this as quite close to the transaction management. So either the entire composite request will be rolled back if the value is true, and if value is false, the remaining sub requests that do not depend upon the failed sub request are executed. That is, if it is being false, the transaction will no longer hold its validity. So it will work as if there is no there is any foundation, and the subsequent request will continue their execution irrespective of whatever has happened with the previous state of composite request. So dependent sub requests are not executed in that particular case if it is being set to true, and all the entire composite request will be rolled back. Now the composite graphs have the advantage that each graph is guaranteed to either complete all its sub requests successfully or roll back completely. In other words, this parameter is implicitly considered to be true for each graph. This means there will never be a combination of like some of the requests are getting errored out and some is having some unprocessed record within a particular graph. So in order to make sure the graphs are independent, the basic rules which apply are like this. Sub request in one graph cannot reference sub request from the another graph. It's evident as well, because if any sub request is getting a reference from a previous request which is bound to error out, then in that case these graphs will be hard bounded to each other, like they have a very strong bond with each other. So if the previous output is faulty or erroneous, then it will impact the other sub request as well. So if you want to make it independent, we should not reference the sub requests from another graph. Each graph in one composite graph operation must be independent. One graph cannot be processed successfully. That must not be prevent other graphs in same operation from being processed. So idea here is, if you are having multiple nodes within a graph request, all those nodes should be independent of each other. So here it goes with the graph limits. So general limits on the graph with the maximum number of graphs in one payload is up to 75. Maximum depth within a particular graph is 15. Maximum number of nodes is 500. 500 as in 500 sub requests. And the maximum number of different nodes in a payload, and it is 15. Nodes are considered different if they use resources from a different API versions. For example, for this particular Salesforce object account of 50th version and 52th version of account will be considered as different. Similarly, this is holding true if we are having altogether different Salesforce object. One is counting for account, the other one is for contact. So both will be considered as a different set of nodes in it. Now the limits, the maximum number of nodes supported in one single payload is 500. For example, if there can be a one graph with 500 nodes or 250 graphs with 2 nodes each. So that can be a combination, but the upper limit is 500. So this was all about, I need to discuss about this composite graph. Now what I will do, I will show you a particular use case which will discuss about this Salesforce graph in one of the example. So let me jump to my Anypoint Studio. So this is the Anypoint Studio which I will be referring. This is the latest version available till date. So if I show you the version, this is 7.7, and the Mule runtime which I am using here is 4.3.0. that is again the latest one. You can check the entries over here just to make sure it is having the latest one. Now in order to make sure you are having the Salesforce Composite available, what you have to check like if it is already available, and if you are following my previous videos of Composite Salesforce connector, then it should be there in your canvas. But if it is not, you are starting it afresh. Just click on the search and exchange and just put Composite and give it a hit. So just select this and click on the add button. It will come on the right hand side under the selected modules. Click on finish, and once it is being done, you should be able to see this Salesforce Composite under the module list. So now how it is going to work, we are having a listener which will be listening on 8081, and execute graph is the name of the URI path. It will be a post method. Okay, so this is being a post method, and whatever payload I am going to put, I am going to convert into a Java object, because the Composite connector looks out for Java object only, and I'm just putting it down under the graphs as the payload. And the Salesforce Composite config which I am referring is the same which we have discussed for the previous videos as well. So again, it is going to use the OAuth username password combination. So I would highly recommend to have a look on my previous videos, like how we can connect, how we can create a connected app on Salesforce backend. All these components are being getting populated from connected app video only, and you can refer any of the previous videos to understand more in depth. Okay, so this was about it, and let me go back over here. This is being done, and after that there is a logger which I am going to print the log statement, that is the what is the payload. This is already in the running state, so we should be good. Now let me jump to the Postman, and let me show you the content of the request. So this is 8081 execute graph, post is the method. Let me take it out and put it somewhere. Okay, so this is starting with an array, and inside that we are having two graphs node, graph 1 ID with ID 1 and the other one with ID 2. Now we are going to discuss the first part, like the ID 1. It is going to create with a particular account with name Cloudy Consulting. A account ID or reference ID will be generated like this, and this ID will be referenced under the account ID while creating Nelly Cashman as the new contact. Okay, after that a opportunity will be created using the same account ID. Okay, now there is a second graph which is altogether different with graph ID 1. So it is not going to use these the same Cloudy Consulting. It is having a different the account Easy Spaces, and it is going to create a new contact as Charlie Dawson, and it is going to refer the account to reference ID as the account ID to associated the account and the contact with the respective account. So this is the payload which I am talking about. Now let me quickly jump to the Salesforce and let me check something. I can see there are because of some of my testing, some entries are already there. So what I'm going to do, I am going to delete it. Just give me a moment. This is just a cleaning stuff so that so now there is no Easy Space and Cloudy Consulting. Just checking here as well. Let me refresh this particular page. Okay, and this is for the opportunities. So now we are good. Our mule runtime is already in the running state, and we are going to hit the request from our postman. Just click on the send button. It will take a couple of seconds and you can see the response we have received. Let me convert it into the JSON format. Success true, success true, success true. So account 1 is created, contact is being created, and the opportunity is being created. So let's first check for Cloudy Consulting whether it is being there or not. After that we will cross check for Easy Spaces with Charlie Dawson as one of the contact. Okay, so let's go over here and go to the accounts. Let's give it a refresh. So we can see Easy Spaces is there and Cloudy Consulting, both are being created. Just now it is being created, and now I'm going to refresh this contact list as well. So Nelly Cashman as well as Charlie Dawson, both are now available. Nelly Cashman is being connected with Cloudy Consulting, as you can see within the payload. Cloudy Consulting, and it is being referred under Nelly Cashman contact. Similarly, for Easy Spaces we have Charlie Dawson. So Charlie Dawson is representing with account name Easy Spaces. Now one more level of opportunity for Cloudy Consulting. So here you can see the opportunity 1 is being created with stage as prospecting. So stage name prospecting and the name is opportunity 1. So this was like one of the very short example, very small example, just to give you a brief about how we can make use of composite graph. I hope you like this video and thanks for watching.